what I got here, believe it or not, I've got something called a hookah system, or maybe above water breathing apparatus from the company GOYOJO. GOYOJO. How about that? There's a very innovative name. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to do some diving around with this thing, because it goes in areas where scuba diving might not be allowed, but this is technically not scuba diving. This is an above water system that pumps air down to you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of go over everything that it comes in the box here and see what we get. You get a little owner's manual there, and I think that's like a vest of some sort. There's maybe the battery. Oh, you get a mask with it, so I don't need to use my mask. This is a floater system for floating on the surface, and here's the actual pump unit itself right here. So this unit is going to pump water down to me. The GOYOJO is going to take care of me, in theory. And you get a little dive flag. We won't need this because there's no boats out here today. And here's our battery. Wow, look at that thing. That battery's wrapped up, so I guess I got to figure out how to put that on there. Here's the hose. So that's the regulator. Well, that seems to work somewhat. So hopefully that doesn't get wrapped around me. Here's some, I don't know what those are. Let me go ahead, set this thing up, everybody, and then I'll come back and let you know what I have here. You know what? I got to read these instruction manuals. So let's do that now. Okay, so I just read over all the instructions. So I guess I'm officially an expert now. Let me kind of show you guys exactly what you get with the GOYOJO. So according to the instructions anyway, this is a extra battery, replacement battery. Here's the charger that came with it. So that charger will charge these batteries. It looks like it just plugs into there. I'm going to put one on charge while I'm down there. And it just pops in kind of like an airline. So it just screws in just like that, and it's popped into place. You can see you blow this thing up using the hose right there. So blow that up. These straps go around the unit, and let me show you exactly what's inside the unit, because I didn't even know there was an extra battery in here. On the bottom of it looks to be some sort of like water expel. It expels the water or something right here, and here's a little filter maybe right there, and then opening it up goes just like this. You see the batteries in there. So the battery has a little bit of charge on it, so I'm not going to mess with it. Closes that up, pressurizes it right there. To turn it on, there's an on and off. See, it's seeing that the hose is not connected, so it doesn't really like use that. But watch when I connect the hose. See, now the hose is connected. What it's doing, it's adding air to this hose. So in theory, it's going to go down, and it's only going to pump when you actually need it. This little sling right here, the hose will wrap through there and goes over the shoulder, and that little sling holds it in place. So let's go ahead. We don't use any more batteries. Let's go ahead. Let's take this thing down to the springs. Let's swim around. I have some fins. I don't have any weights, so it might be hard for me to stay underwater, but you know what? We're going to try it out. Let's see if this thing actually floats. So technically, it's supposed to float just like that. And I don't think it matters if it gets wet under there. Here's the hose. The mouthpiece is folded over, but I think if I bite on it some, it's going to come back to life. It should stop pumping when the hose goes. So we'll turn that off. I'm going to get the fins on. I'm going to see what happens. Let's pull this thing closer. Wow, this hose is a lot longer than it looks, everybody. So in theory, I should be able to go underwater and breathe with this thing. Everybody, I'm actually shocked this actually works.
that hose is way longer than I thought it was.
So this little hook is what pulls it along beside you. And see how this right here, so when you swim, this pulls it. Oh boy, there it was, everybody. So this was a full day using the GOYOJO underwater breathing system right here. I'm gonna say this thing works. I don't see any issues at all. You definitely need a set of fins with this thing. You're gonna need a weight belt, just like with a real diving setup, you're gonna need a weight belt. The thing was folded over out of the box, and it kind of, I guess maybe if I heat it up, it might come undone a little bit. And the little regulator thing, if you wanna let air out, you just mash that button right there. Look at all the air coming out of there. The mask was fine. I don't see any issues with the mask. I might get a little better quality mask right here. I like the system. I think it works. I think this is where it would come in handy. I think if we're on the river and we need to kind of get something underwater on the river, you could easily go under there, and it gives you, and if you regulate your breathing properly, I see no issues with the using this thing on a long time, because one thing that I found out is I use so much energy to get down without a weight belt that I'm having to breathe harder and then come back up. And then as you're swimming and moving, this thing floats with you. See that? It floats with you right there. The hose was longer than I thought. I'm gonna say this hose was probably about 40 feet. And one thing that I seen that the hose would do, it would start tangling up on me, so I'd have to kind of untangle it. When I'm going underwater too, as I'm kicking my fins like that, I would feel the hose, and one time the hose got wrapped around my foot and then I had to float back to the top. The good thing is, you're not going to go super deep with this thing, so you don't really have a lot to worry with. If you do get in trouble, it's so easy to come back to the top so fast because you're not super deep underwater with this thing. Unlike a, you know, a traditional scuba, you know, you're way underwater. If you get in trouble, you could be in big trouble. You have to kind of decompress and all this. Everybody, I think this is a great system for anyone that just wants a kind of above water breathing apparatus for things like this, like a spring, lake, rivers, or something like that. You guys leave in the comments below if you've ever used something like this and what your opinion is on it, because I don't see any issues with this thing. So yeah, there it is, everybody. That's all I got on the GOYOJO, you know, above water hookah system. See you on the next video.